Oh, I do love a cool as heck, full style points finisher move. Thank you very much, my youth in 1995 arcade gaming and Mortal Kombat for that one, of course. I do hope there's a variety of these finishes for each weapon type and it's not the same one every single time. Hello again, I am Blunty and this is Wildhearts. Today we got some all new, all fresh actual gameplay, and with that we got to look at no less than 3 new weapon types of the 8 the game includes. And amongst those 8 weapons there's apparently 200 different variations to craft. But within the 3 we saw today are probably the first 2 I will be trying out. Let me know in the down below if you've seen a weapon that's caught your eye in Wildhearts yet, and why you're thinking of choosing it. I'll tell you mine later in this very video. Now, for those who've not caught wind of this game yet, Wildhearts is an action role-playing game which wears its Monster Hunter inspiration on its sleeve without shame. And now that we're getting past the noise of the PS5 and Xbox launches of Monster Hunter Rise at last, I hope Koei Tecmo and Omega Force, the developers, and their publishing partner EA Originals are finally ready for a big fat last-minute marketing push, because honestly, I'd really like this game to, well, 1, be as awesome as it looks like it should be, and 2, have a nice strong player base with which to multiplayer. And also, we are just now 3 weeks before launch, and so far the marketing has been, honestly, a little quiet. Surprisingly quiet. Concerningly quiet, even, perhaps. Anyway, let's take a look at what they showed us this morning. Firstly, the Golden Tempest, one of the monsters we've known about since the last little marketing tick at the Game Awards late last year, but who we haven't actually seen in action properly yet. Big, pouncy, vine-whippy cat, what's not to like here? The monster designs in Wildhearts are, in general, a lot less, I guess primitive and fantasy-inspired than Monster Hunter's own. A lot more mammalian inspiration going on, rather than dragons and, especially with Monster Hunter Rise, Japanese yokai folklore inspiration. We've had a huge brutish boar, a hit-and-run little rat squirrel thing, a kind of badger raccoon guy that seems to be a bit more stun-based, and now a hyper-aggressive tiger. In fact, Wildhearts' approach to monster design reminds me a little more strongly of Dauntless than it does Monster Hunter, with elementally twisted variations of much more modern animals. Golden Tempest here actually reminds me a little of Kushai from Dauntless, which was also a very pouncy, very cat-like critter, relied a lot on tail whips and had a range of vine-based special attacks. And as it happens, Kushai was also one of my favourite hunts to learn in Dauntless. It's been a while too to get the hang of that bugger. In any case, I really like that Wildhearts seems to have a pretty strong visual identity all of its own when it comes to monster design. The arena spaces look quite well designed too, lots of detail without actually getting in the way of the mechanics of the hunt. We see 2 stages fighting Golden Tempest here in this footage. Firstly in some kind of raised battlefield, broken, torn and muddied, I quite like, and the next one is in a much prettier sort of flowery field. But let's talk about those new weapons. We have the Claw Blade first, which in Monster Hunter context seems to be the answer to, hey, what if the dual blades were much more aerial based, but also a lot more floaty than the insect glaive is. The hunter seems to spend very little time on the ground with these, dealing out bursts of small damage numbers with the occasional big hit when a window presents. High mobility and gap closing seems to be the name of the game here, and honestly, I don't like how it looks. I just don't. Now, I love playing aerial insect glaive, flipping and twirling and spinning and dashing around. It's super fun, especially in Monster Hunter Rise. But this seems a little too floaty for me. There's no sense of weight or impact to any of this. The physics feel all wrong. I just don't like how it looks, and if it plays like it looks, I don't think I'm going to like it. I'll give it a go, sure, of course I will. But I have my doubts if I'll gel with this particular playstyle and this particular weapon. Next up though, it's a different story here, the cannon. Again, in the easy-to-reach for context of Monster Hunter, obviously it's Wildhearts' answer to the bowguns. Closest to the slower, careful position critical play of the heavy bowgun, but with some of the mobility back from the light bowgun. Also, I love this part here where they whack up a Kurakari wall to more safely start the animation commitment for a special charged move. Clever strategy, and it reminds me quite a lot of the old trick of hiding behind a barrel bomb in Monster Hunter for doing that kind of thing. I also like that you can still dodge roll and even sheathe the weapon with this charged attack loaded up without cancelling it out. That's not something you can do with a lot of these moves in Monster Hunter. I hope they also keep the same trade-off balance that Monster Hunter uses for its ranged weapons, where your defense is significantly lowered in a trade-off for the extra safety the ranged playstyle affords you. I love that balancing act, and it asks you to be absolutely sure of your positioning and how much time you have to commit to heavy animations, because if you do get snuck up on and comboed, oh, it's over for you. I will definitely be giving this weapon a go. Light bowgun is a nice little secondary weapon for me in Monster Hunter, and I'm actually doing my whole main playthrough on PlayStation 5 with it, having only ever used it in endgame till now. It's been actually pretty fun progressing this thing. Also, did you see that? That big wind AoE thing? Notice how it pulled up all of the damn grass from the field in a big circular pattern. I love when monsters have effects on terrain like that, even if it's just visual. It didn't make the ground muddy or anything, it didn't make it look like it made the hunters move slow or anything like that. It's just a visual thing, but it just helps everything feel more grounded, don't you reckon? Again, if I can go to Dauntless, there's a similar thing in that, where, you know, monster attacks will occasionally just knock down trees and stuff. And still on Dauntless, that right there, I don't think we've seen this in Wildhearts gameplay yet, have we? If we did, I failed to notice it in all the other spectacle. But in another reminder of Dauntless, it seems instead of a fellow hunter being sent back to camp if they fall in battle, there is a window for another hunter to come over and revive them, which locks both of you down into an animation, of course, high risk, high reward. This is also a system I love having. In Dauntless, finding a window to revive a team member was always part of the fun for me. And I wonder if we'll have armor skills to specialize in quick recoveries. And finally, the Karakuri Staff, which, at least based on first impressions, might very well be my first choice for weapon, and my main choice. Two of my favourite weapons in Monster Hunter are the Switch Axe and the Charge Blade, and what they both have in common is being able to transform between high mobility and decent power to an alternate form which affords significant power boost but equally significant loss of mobility. High risk, high reward. And finding the right openings and combat flow to take advantage of both and transform between them at the right time and the right place is terrific fun. And here we have a staff weapon for that mobility side, and I've always liked bow staff stuff, from Monkey Magic as a kid to Donatello in the Turtles to Killick and Soul Calibur, and who among my fellow Gen Xers didn't spend time in the backyard with a broom handle trying to teach themselves how to look cool while twirling it around? Mostly in vain. I don't think any of us managed to look cool, did we? I certainly didn't. Point is, bow staves are neat. But here, with this bow staff, when an opening presents, oh my lordy, a big boy, cartoonishly huge, buster-ass greatsword with ridiculously weighty, impactful looking animations. It's glorious, isn't it? I mean, come on, look at it. Oh boy, I hope that one's as fun as it looks. Also, I didn't know if this was supposed to be a Monster Hunter in-joke, but did you notice one of the players in this demo footage was called Carted? Because I did, and it made me smile. So, hopefully this new gameplay is kicking off a nice 3-week run up till launch for Wildhearts. Hopefully we get even more detail and gameplay from the game. And again, man, I really do hope it plays as good as it looks like it does, because if it does, I'm going to have so much fun with this game. I'm pretty friggin' eager for it. Can you hear it in my voice? So, thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this interesting, insightful, useful. I am Blunty. Thank you as always to the patrons scrolling up above there. And I will catch you next time.